You've submitted your resume and portfolio, made it through the initial interviews, and now it's time to present your UX case study to hiring managers. How exciting! In this video, we'll talk about creating a narrative around your work that will make you stand out in your presentation. Let's talk about knowing your audience, creating a slide deck, and emphasizing key points. First things first, make sure to know your audience. In UX, the key to creating meaningful experiences is understanding your users, right? And your presentation is no different. Consider the company and your interviewer when creating your presentation. This part is all about background research. To start, learn about what the company does so you can select projects that are relevant to their business. If you are new to the field, or if you don't have any relevant experience, then look up the company's vision, mission, and values, and discuss how your design philosophy and the experience that you do have relates to those. You can also do a quick search on news outlets to find out what the company has been up to recently, and use that information to craft your narrative. This shows that you've done your homework, and you're able to speak directly to what's timely and relevant to the company. It's also useful to ask your recruiter for information about your interviewer. If you know that you'll be speaking with a designer, you'll want to focus on your design process and decisions. If you'll be speaking with a product manager, focus on the impact of your work on business outcomes. Tailoring your presentation shows that you understand their priorities and are a strong fit for their team. Next, make sure your presentation has a clear structure. A common mistake I see is when candidates present their case studies using their portfolio website as a visual aid. This is not the best approach because your presentation will lack the structure that it needs for a face-to-face presentation. And since the hiring manager has already reviewed your portfolio, you should focus instead on providing a deeper look and adding commentary. To create a more compelling and organized story, it's best to make a slide deck specifically for the presentation, and lengthwise, keep it short and sweet. Some companies may provide you with a time limit, but it's best to keep it concise to make sure that it's focused and engaging. Though your initial presentation should cover just the main points, it's also a good idea to have more information prepared if your interviewers ask for details during discussion. For example, if you mentioned usability testing but did not go over the specifics during your initial presentation, then it's good to have additional slides prepared in an appendix if they ask about a specific finding or want to know more about your methods. Having a slide deck will give your presentation structure and show the team that you're prepared. Lastly, let's talk about what points you should cover. The goal here is not to go over all the details, but just the main points. This part is all about storytelling and creating a meaningful narrative around your project. And I know some projects can be very complex and it may be difficult to decide what to touch on, but think about what information will distract from the main points, perhaps making your presentation hard to follow. Our first key point is the problem statement. Set the context for your work by talking about the problem that you're solving and why it matters. This statement should be direct and concise. If it's too vague or complex, you risk losing their attention or confusing them. By keeping it simple, you make it easy for stakeholders to follow your story and see the value of your solution right from the start. Next, define your role. Make sure to be specific about what you contributed to the project. Collaboration is a valuable skill, so if you worked with others on the project, just say so rather than claiming others' work. Next, talk about the challenges you encountered, how you overcame them, and what you learned. This is the most important part of your story. You may have learned to highlight the design process in your portfolio, but what truly matters is how you solve problems. The design process is a common framework that everybody knows. What actually sets you apart is your problem-solving mindset. Instead of just listing steps out, use storytelling to discuss the obstacles you encountered. Talk about how you adapted your approach and how those experiences shaped your understanding. Lastly, share the results and impact of your project clearly. If you're a designer, showcase the final product and talk about measurable outcomes like improved conversion rates or increased user satisfaction. If you're a researcher, show the impact of your work by presenting artifacts that resulted from research like diagrams, or data visualizations, or research findings. Focus on concrete evidence that shows how your efforts made a difference. We talked about how to prepare for and structure your presentation. Now I'll leave you with a couple of final tips. My first tip is to engage with your interviewer. Treat it like a conversation, not a monologue. This helps you to build rapport with the team, making your presentation feel more natural and collaborative. Which leads me to my second tip. Be ready for questions and discussion. Be prepared to explain your design decisions and thought process. This shows that you can think critically and justify your choices, qualities that interviewers value. Overall, the most important part of any presentation is practice. Make sure to run through your presentation ahead of time to practice your delivery and calm those nerves. You got this.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of our UX videos, take a look at these over here and consider subscribing to our channel. On our website, nngroup.com, you can access our free library of over 2,000 articles. You can also register for one of our UX courses that offer live, hands-on UX training.